It starts as a game, a gathering of friends. And slowly, as some begin to sit back, others stand out. The joy of playing turns to passion. And as the skills develop, so do the minds. And they begin to seek challenges, peers, and mentors to further their abilities and opportunities. The love and passion becomes a thirst for people in a place
we make history today in Pittsburgh
that will embrace and push a hunger for excellence
the ACC.
and to be in and among champions. These are the dreamers, scholars, leaders. These are the guides, teachers, mentors. And this is the opportunity, the challenge, the place. This is Pitt Beyond the Script.
And here come the Panthers.
Hello and welcome to a special edition of Pitt Beyond the Script. During the course of the show, we're going to be honoring the 2019 class of the Pitt Athletics Hall of Fame, a list that includes All-Americans, national champions, Super Bowl champions, Olympians, and even doctors. We'll have highlights from the ceremony, and we'll spend some time with some of the inductees themselves as they share the memories and moments of their Pitt Hall of Fame careers. This week on Pitt Beyond the Script.
That's why they call him Sam Bam, I guess, huh?
Oh, boy, he can bust the door open and
Ladies and gentlemen, good evening. On behalf of the University of Pittsburgh and the Department of Athletics, we're pleased to welcome you to tonight's second annual Hall of Fame induction ceremony and dinner. A pleasure to be a part of this tremendous tradition, celebrating some of the best athletes to wear a Pitt uniform. It's also a pleasure to see so many of our former student athletes, coaches, longtime fans, supporters in attendance tonight. We also have some current student athletes in attendance who we know one day will be here and recognized for their hard work and dedication in continuing the tradition of excellence at the University of Pittsburgh.
Good evening, everyone. It is just an awesome honor to be here and welcome you to our second annual Hall of Fame. I want to thank you for joining us and kicking off this Hall of Fame weekend. You know, it's a true honor and privilege to lead this athletic department and serve our coaches and student athletes every day. You know, as you all know, we embarked on creating our first ever Hall of Fame last year. I'd say year 2 was almost, if not harder and difficult than year 1 to select the best of the best who have worn the blue and gold. Tonight, you know, of the more than 50,000 Pitt athletes and coaches who have played or coached for the Pitt Panthers, we get to honor 12. So many of you here have witnessed the 12 individuals compete or coach in some of the most incredible moments in Pitt athletics history. I am often asked, you know, what's the best moment of being the athletic director at Pitt? And, you know, many people say, oh, hiring a head coach, you know, bringing a head coach on, or winning a marquee game, or watching our students cross the stage when they graduate. But I will tell you, one of my very favorite days on the job every year now is when I get that list from the Hall of Fame Selection Committee, and they say to me, Heather, it's time to make the call.
No, we're thrilled. I'm so glad you're here. You know, I've got one more surprise. You are being inducted into our Pitt Athletics Hall of Fame next year. So, welcome. You're so deserving. So deserving.
So I'll just say, you know, this class is legendary. No matter the sport and no matter the era, these student athletes raise the bar of excellence, not just here at Pitt, but at the national level, at the professional level, and in the Olympics. To our Hall of Famers, you gave Pitt so many unforgettable memories. And when you think about what it takes to become a Hall of Famer, you know, I think about 4 endearing qualities that you all embody that jump out to my mind. And, you know, the first is discipline. And you have proven the amount of discipline that it takes to achieve at this level, to balance the academic demands and the athletic demands, and the countless hours and time that you've put into your sport, there's no question you can't do what you do without the discipline you display. And leadership, you know, it's funny, when you think about true leaders on a team and in an organization, really, leadership is about changing the direction of that program. And you all led your teams and made your teammates better every day and led them in a direction of success. And so you are all true leaders. And I'll say that, you know, excellence is really the third quality that I think about when I think about this group, because excellence shows up every day. It does not pick and choose when it comes to practice or comes to a game. And you guys all displayed the excellence necessary to achieve at the levels you have. And finally, you know, fourth, it's really about pride. You took pride in how you represented all of us here at Pitt. You had the discipline, you were the leaders, and you strove for excellence every day. And you created a true sense of pride for all of us here tonight and connected to Pitt. So I want to thank the Hall of Famers for reminding us why we do what we do every day here in the athletic department. You are a true inspiration to our current student athletes and our future Pitt student athletes. So I want to congratulate each of you for being a part of this year's Hall of Fame class, and hail to Pitt.
Before we started practice every day, every once in a while we would do a one-on-one with, not every day, but a lot of times, an offensive player and defensive player. Coach Shera would pick who that person was. And then whoever won those 3 times that you would go, the tradition is we started every practice with the guy that won would say, "Are you ready? Are you ready? P-I-T-T Pitt." So I think for me, you know, we started every practice like that, and maybe not with a one-on-one, but someone was going to get called up to, you know, call everybody up. We called it calling up the Pitt script, and so we would do that. And you know, when I came back several years later, 20 years later, I brought the guys together, and they didn't have any idea what I was talking about. So I'd like to see that tradition come back, because I think it meant a lot to us as Pitt players.
So we're here for a little surprise for Sam Clancy. It happens to be his birthday, but we are going to surprise him and let him know that he's going to be inducted into the Pitt Athletics Hall of Fame. He has no idea, I don't think. His wife's here, and we're celebrating his birthday, so I'm gonna do a little surprise burst in here, and we'll see how it goes.
Look your old party, bro. Believe me, I do not need cake.
I never get invited to, how do you guys, I thought you had the birthday party downstairs. I never get invited. Happy birthday. How are you?
It must be a happy 61 or something.
It must be a big day. Is this like a big celebration?
It is.
So you want a little more, one more surprise?
What's the one more surprise?
Yeah. Are you ready?
No?
No?
I don't know if I can handle it anymore.
What?
What's up, man?
You know, I've got one more surprise.
What's the surprise? So this is not the surprise.
Hey, that better be the surprise. That better be the surprise. Okay, you are being inducted into our Pitt Athletics Hall of Fame next year. So, welcome.
To be inducted to the Hall of Fame is surreal. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Welcome back to Pitt Beyond the Script, a special edition as we celebrate the Pitt Athletics 2019 Hall of Fame class. We had a chance to sit down with some of this year's inductees to find out what the honor means to them and what it's like to be back on the campus that played such a big part in shaping their lives.
And I'm so appreciative. I'm so appreciative just from being here, being part of this community. For me, it means everything.
They first called and told me, I started to cry because this is an amazing honor.
Be part of this class and the caliber of players and athletes and everything, pretty special.
It's incredible. It's such an honor to be a part of the legacy.
It's something that every athlete, when they go to a college, they probably aspire to get into the college's Hall of Fame. And for me, it's a great honor to be inducted into the University of Pittsburgh's Hall of Fame. There's no doubt about that.
And to be recognized as one of the better ones or one of the guys at the top of the heap, it's such a pleasure and an honor. And it's one of those things that I'll always cherish. And it's one of those things when you come here at the University of Pittsburgh, you don't expect that because there's just a long list of great players. And I was just fortunate to be on football teams with some phenomenal football players. It made me a better player.
It means the world to me. And being a local kid from Pittsburgh, you know, and then I only wish that my mom and dad was really here to enjoy this moment with me, though. But I just want to thank Heather Light for one, starting the Hall of Fame, and because it was long overdue, and two, for the committee who selected me.
It's a great honor to be coming behind Dan Marino, Hugh Green, Tony Dorsett, Charles Smith, and then I'm in the second class. It's a great honor.
What I gained from the University of Pittsburgh and being part of the athletic program here has helped me throughout my whole life. And being able to have the connections I've had, but also I learned a lot about myself.
And I'm honored that I could be a part of the history of this great university, which it is.
People that I played next to and played with, and all my offensive line guys, I mean, they're really here too.
And to be a part of the class of inductees with them is just so amazing. It's once in a lifetime, someone just said, and I totally agree.
And Johnny Majors gets a ride across the field as the Pittsburgh Panthers defeat the Georgia Bulldogs 27-3, a dominating performance. They are the National Collegiate Champions because they won them all. And they won this big one convincingly.
Welcome back to Pitt Beyond the Script alongside Executive Associate Athletic Director E.J. Borghetti. I'm Rob King. Nothing says Pitt quite like E.J. Borghetti. Of course, your dad was a huge star. You've been working at the university after being a graduate, so you're really in touch with the Hall of Fame. And I want to take you back to the first class because there were a lot of names there that people remember. Marino, Dorsett, Ditka. It really seemed to kick things off and set up the standard for the Hall of Fame moving forward.
When you list those names, I think the greatest of the great, the very best of the very best. And that's really what, not only the initial Hall of Fame class, but I would say these first two. You've got Olympians, Olympian gold medalists, Pro Football Hall of Famers, All-Americans, world record holders. It's a remarkable, remarkable group. And I think it showcases not only the best of Pitt, but frankly, the best of collegiate athletics as a whole.
When you look at the second class, again, it underscores just how great the history and tradition is in Pitt athletics because you have guys like Johnny Majors, who, of course, was the head coach of the 1976 championship team. Mark May, maybe the most decorated lineman in Pitt history. Jimbo Covert, Sam Clancy, other tremendous athletes. Can you talk a little bit about this class?
Tremendous. You know, I've often said I've had the privilege to be on the selection committee each of the 2 years that it's been in existence. And I've said in those meetings during the winter all along, we have such a deep, deep pool of candidates. We're not going to run out of high-level candidates for a very, very long time. But these are the people that set the highest of standards. And what's most remarkable is you talk about these legendary names, and it's like seeing Mount Rushmore in the flesh. To actually see Coach Major stride across that stage and talk about that remarkable season, to see people like Jimbo Covert and Mark May, who really built Pitt into offensive lineman U, standing there, reflecting on their days at Pitt, reflecting on their days in the pros, and for all of their professional greatness, it all started right here in Oakland. That planted the seeds for their greatness, not only at Pitt, but in their lives beyond. That I might add, not just as an athlete as well. They've gone on to great personal and professional achievements well after their careers have been over.
And then nice to see some of the guys who have an attachment to Pitt, whether that's Mark May beginning his broadcasting career here, or Sam Clancy still working at the university.
You know what, it never gets old for me to see Sam Clancy in the hallways. You know, Sam, again, I've said it before, I'll say it again, in my opinion, you talk about the Pittsburgh City League, Sam Clancy is the best athlete, not just the best basketball player, but the best athlete the City League ever produced, in my opinion. And to see him every day, a smile, a great upbeat attitude, he is just contagious, and he's a great guy to have on your team, not only on the boards, not only in rushing the passer, but here in the department every day. And Mark May, when I look at his great career, I'm told that when he was an Allen Trophy winner here at Pitt, he was not only an All-American, but he was All-Interview. So it makes sense that he would go on to a great career with the Redskins, but also be a great ambassador for that organization, and then into a very accomplished broadcasting career. So it all started at Pitt.
And, you know, when you talk about the basketball program, of course, Sam Clancy is a guy that comes to mind. But basketball here didn't begin with the formation of the Big East Conference or even a little bit before that. Don Hennon, you know, was, I think, loomed large as the greatest player in Pitt history for a very long period of time.
You could argue that he was Pitt basketball's first star in a media era. And what I love about Don Hennon is Don Hennon could have gone in the NBA, played many years, remarkable shooter, remarkable offensive talent. But Dr. Hennon had other plans for his life. As opposed to going into professional sports, he decided to become a doctor. And if you think about the many lives and families that he impacted through that profession, I think that just says so very, very much. To turn his back on the glamour of professional sports, but instead decide to dedicate his life to something that would last decades and decades well beyond the hardwood. Special story, special man, and this is a very deserved honor.
You know, I think football and basketball get the bulk of attention. They're the ones that are the sports that are out there the most. But some great Olympic athletes being inducted in both the first and second class as well.
Lee McRae, you know, he immediately comes to mind because I can remember as a kid watching him. And he was a prep football star down south, came up to Pitt here and decided track is what I'm going to do. And he held, you could argue, the most prestigious title, fastest man in the world. Yeah. Broke Karl Lewis's record, tremendous athlete. You know, what was so nice is to be able to meet him in person. He was genuinely thrilled to be back on this campus, to receive this honor amongst a just highly accomplished group. And you're so right. It's not just about football and basketball. You know, Sue Heon, who set very high standards in the pool. It goes on. And that's the great thing I think about Pitt athletics. Perhaps football and basketball are highest profile, but we have a remarkable record of achievement, such a high pedigree in all of our sports throughout the years.
So you talked about some of the athletes in some of the other sports, Olympic sports, the Perry family, Najuma Fletcher, each has their own great story, obviously.
No question. You know, these are people who did it great. In some respects, they set historical precedents, which served as inspiration for those who followed them. Let's talk about Najuma Fletcher, from a native of Guyana, who came here. She became the first Pitt woman to win an NCAA individual track and field title. Did it academically, high-achieving student. These are the type of examples that inspire. These are the type of examples that capture what being a Hall of Famer is all about.
EJ, thanks so much. The first two classes have been amazing, and more amazing classes to come.
Great depth there. We'll be having this conversation for many years to come.
All right, stick around. We still have more to come when we resume on Pitt Beyond the Script.
Well, I think I like to play basketball. I've been playing since I was about age 4, so it wasn't anything unusual to be playing basketball. My dad was a coach, so that falls right in line with what he did. But I think a lot of the games were tight, competitive games, you know, and there was a lot of rivalries when I was playing with West Virginia Duquesne, and those games were all, high volume, if you want to say it that way, games, and everybody got excited about those. And I look back on those, and I think those were a lot of fun.
That will do it. Hail to Pittsburgh. Touchdown, Pittsburgh.
Thank you for coming.
They helped me a lot to just, mold me who I am.
Pitt just has it all.
Everyone is on their feet.
Hail to Pitt. We just witnessed history.
Pitt Beyond the Script, weekly on AT&T Sportsnet.
When we won the Big East, outdoor, I ran the 100, 200, and a leg on the relay, 4x1 relay, and coach was like, "Hey Lee, we may need you for the 4x4." And I was like, "The 4x4?" He said, "We have a chance to win the Big East." I said, "Pin me up, coach." And that was the defining moment when everybody on the track team was like, "We're a family. We do whatever we need to do to bring Pitt to the forefront of track and field." Because back then it was Villanova, Seton Hall, and Pitt was always falling short. But the athletes Coach Fazbury and Steve Lewis brought in those 5-6 years, we meshed very well.
Welcome back to this special Hall of Fame edition of Pitt Beyond the Script. Bill Hillgrove, the voice of the Panthers, had a chance to share the stage with the 2019 inductees. He asked them about their time at Pitt and about the memories that will always live in their hearts as well as ours.
And now, it's my honor to turn it over to my broadcast partner, Bill Hillgrove, for a little Q&A.
I've been around these folks for their careers, and what a treasure it is for me. Sam Clancy, was it harder scoring 1,000 points and grabbing 1,000 rebounds as a college basketball player or playing defensive end in the National Football League?
Well, football is definitely harder. And I'm gonna tell you why. Basketball, I was a man among boys. All right? I mean,
no argument here.
Hey, I mean, I was like a bully on the court. But when I got to the NFL, Jimbo, Mark May, was a little skinny basketball guy. Now I had to become a man. So it definitely was harder learning how to play the professional level. And matter of fact, it took me a couple years to get my feet wet and stop getting that helmet put up under my chin.
What convinced you that you should be at the University of Pittsburgh rather than Iowa State?
Excuse me.
Yes.
You always pretty well try to take charge of the TV show when we were working together. I have a little more difficult hearing right now than I did then. What was your question, please, sir?
Why Pitt?
What about Pitt?
Why? Why did you come here?
I don't know, but I'm that blame glad I did.
January 1st, 1977.
What was that?
Clock hits zeros at the Superdome. Pitt is undefeated national championships. What was going through your mind as your players hoisted you on their shoulders and took you off that New Orleans, Louisiana field?
It was so exciting. Those 5 years were the greatest experience of my whole adult life.
John Major. Sue Heon, describe the feeling of wearing the red, white, and blue while representing this great nation.
This goes back to when I was 10 years old. I told my parents I was going to make the Olympic team someday. And sure enough, 1984 rolled around and I made the team.
Dreams do come true. Soo-Hyun.
That is something I was very fortunate today to have the opportunity to talk to the men's and women's swim team, and one of the things I failed to tell them was I'm living proof that dreams do come true, and that with hard work and dedication and discipline, your dreams will come true.
Don Hennon remains as one of the most prolific scorers here at the University of Pittsburgh, averaging nearly 25 points a game, and that was without the three-point line. You ultimately chose a career in medicine over the NBA. What influenced that decision?
Well, a lot of people have asked me, do I have any regrets because I didn't try to go and play professional basketball, but who knows, I may not even been able to make a professional basketball team, but I went to the School of Medicine, I became a doctor, I then became a surgeon, I took care of my fellow men and helped them, I hope, a lot. So what regrets could I have? I can't have any regrets for that.
Mark May, my partner in the booth for several years, but when he came out of Oneonta, New York to the University of Pittsburgh on a recruiting trip, he was hosted by the kid that wore number 33, Tony Dorsett. Yeah. What was that like?
It was awesome. And actually there were three of us. It was Hugh Green, Ricky Jackson, and myself, with Jake Parrish, Cecil Johnson, and Tony. And Tony said, we don't take recruits. You guys better send your Pittsburgh and go there. We all did, and we all made either the College Hall of Fame or the National Football League Hall of Fame.
Lee McRae, you broke Karl Lewis' 55-meter indoor world record by finishing in a blazing 6 seconds. What was it like to be known as the fastest man in the world?
The fastest man in the world. I think my mother was the fastest woman in the world. But it was great. It was me growing up. I got from both sides of the family, my mom and my dad. My mom had the speed, and my dad had the agility. And my dad used to drill me. I said, if I can beat my dad, I can beat anybody.
Lee McRae, why Pitt?
Tony Dorsett. Point blank.
Jimbo Covert, you were starter left tackle for the Bears from day one. What about your Pitt experience that enabled you to step into that challenging role?
Well, I think because I had such great coaching, and with Coach Sherrill and Coach Moore. I mean, I went in there, and I think Mark will say the same thing. We were way more prepared than a lot of guys that came in as rookies, just because that's the way we were coached. And I think a lot of guys come in, they can maybe run block, they really can't pass block very well. And with Danny, we threw so much. I mean, it was really a lot better for me to come in, and I had a great opportunity to play right away, so it was good.
The great Jimbo Covert.
Thank you.
Juma Fletcher, one of the most decorated athletes in the history of the University of Pittsburgh, regardless of sport or era. Looking back, how does it feel to hold such a lofty place in Pitt athletic history?
It's incredible. It's amazing. It's humbling to be a part of just on stage with all of these greats, seeing their videos, knowing of their accomplishments. It's really an honor. I know all of us have said and spoke of the people who have helped us get here. And it's not only our accomplishments, but the people behind it, whether it was the administration, our families. It's an amazing feeling, it's humbling, and I'm very thankful and proud to be a part of it.
Ladies and gentlemen, I am humbled, but I am honored to present to you the class of 2019, the University of Pittsburgh Athletic Hall of Fame.
Thank you for watching this special edition of Pitt Beyond the Script.